guys, so today I wanted to cover a topic that I was never really told much about when I was younger, and that is periods and what periods actually are and the menstrual cycle and what you can do to stop pain and just all the things to do with periods that I learned through things like leaflets and things that didn't really make much sense. I remember that when I was about 11 or 12, I was told by my mum and by school that a period was just a few days a month where you bleed out of your vagina, and I was never really told why that is, and it was a very confusing time, so hopefully this will explain the science behind periods. So to fully understand what a period actually is, we need to talk about something called the menstrual cycle. So you may have heard of this term before. The menstrual cycle is basically your reproduction cycle. It is where an egg is released from an ovary, and then the egg is either fertilized and it becomes a baby, yay, or if it's not fertilized, then that egg is broken down and the womb lining that is created by your body is shed, and that is what your period is. So the menstrual cycle lasts on average 28 days, but it can last anywhere from 21 to 35 days. And when you're a young teen, it can last anywhere from 21 to 45 days, which is why when you're younger, you may have irregular periods and it might freak you out a little bit. So the first day of your period marks the start of a new menstrual cycle. Now, periods usually last between 3 to 5 days on average, but can last anywhere from 2 to 7 days. If they're any shorter or any longer, you should probably ask your doctor. It is probably normal, especially if you're a lot younger, but it's always worth just getting it checked out. So just after your period is finished, which should be around day 5 or day 6 of your menstrual cycle, your body will create a high level of a hormone called estrogen. Now, estrogen is the female sex hormone, and it creates boobs and pubic hair, and basically it's what makes you a lady. This estrogen is produced by your ovaries and helps to thicken your womb lining in preparation for a baby. And at around day 14 of your menstrual cycle, an egg is released from one of your ovaries in hopes of baby. Now if that egg is fertilized by sperm, then yay, you're pregnant, or you're pregnant. Depends on how you feel about it. But if that egg is not fertilized by around day 25, that egg starts to naturally break down and your body gets rid of the womb lining, and that womb lining is the blood that comes out of your vagina. And that, my friends, is how periods do. Now you know why you bleed from your doodah. You're welcome. So now I just want to talk about a few things that you can use while you're on your period to protect your underwear and just collect the blood that comes out of your vagina. Now, a lot of you will already start your period, so you may already know about a lot of these techniques, but I will just show you some methods to help you not have blood everywhere. Sorry guys if you're watching this, but this is a natural thing. Sorry to put you off your dinner, but blood happens. So firstly, we have sanitary towels. Now, sanitary towels are easy to use. They come in these packets over here. You take this little tab, you rip it, which is quite loud when you're trying to change your pad in school toilets. Take that out, and there you have it. You put that in your underwear. These wings fold over your underwear, and then you are protected. This catches all of the blood, and then you just throw it away. Don't flush these down toilets. They end up in drains, and they're around fish, and poor fish. You know, they block toilets, and they just wrap them back up in this and throw them away. Now, the pros of using these, I guess they are very good at catching blood, unless you put them in incorrectly or you toss and turn in your sleep a lot. Disadvantages, they're noisy, and a lot of girls get very embarrassed about being on their period, which you guys shouldn't, okay? Don't get embarrassed. It's a natural thing. And everyone around you that can hear you changing your sanitary towel has been on their period. Probably. You can also get sanitary towels in a longer version. These are always night, so they're a bit longer, so that when you toss and turn in your sleep, then there's less chance of blood leaking onto your pajamas. Now, these are called tampons. Now, I honestly didn't start using these till I was about 20. I was always just using sanitary towels because I was quite afraid of putting one of these up my doodah. So tampons can come with cardboard applicators or plastic applicators. I'm going to show you the plastic ones now, because the cheaper tampons with cardboard applicators, the applicator, by the way, is what you stick up your vagina. I just find them to be very uncomfortable, and they're quite hard to put in, especially if you haven't lost your virginity. I can imagine that they would be quite hard to put in. So basically, tampon, I'm going to be a little bit graphic here. So this is my vagina, okay? I'm going to open that a little bit. That's how vaginas work. So this is a weird video. Okay, so what you would do is you place a tampon up there, and then you push up on one of these, and then this is what goes into your vagina, and this just comes off. So you have a little bit of string that dangles out of your vagina, so you can pull it back out, and this basically expands and gets bigger as it absorbs your period blood. They're quite easy to put in and take out, especially like I said if you have plastic applicators. The only issue with these is the risk of something called toxic shock syndrome, which is an illness that you can get from having one of these inside of you for too long. Basically, the blood that collects on this, if it's left in there too long, it can get absorbed back into your bloodstream and there can be toxins, and basically it gives you blood poisoning and it can be fatal. I'll go through that in a little bit more detail in a minute. Now, another alternative to using sanitary towels or tampons is something called a moon cup. I know you guys can't really see that. Basically, I picked one of these up last year and I was confused as to what it really was. I think I'd seen a little bit of info from, I think it's from Lacey Green on YouTube. Check her out if you haven't already. And it told me a little bit about these. Basically, comes in a little bag, and guys, if you're watching, males who do not have periods, prepare to be either grossed out or amazed. It is a menstrual cup. Now, basically, it is quite a big tampon. So, okay. So what you would do is, this is basically a cup in there. You fold it in half and then you fold it again, so it's folded up on itself. And then you place that in your vagina, which is quite difficult, especially again if you're a virgin, because these are quite large. And then it unfolds in your vagina and creates a seal so that no blood can leak out. And the blood is collected in this cup and you pull it back out with this. Now, I have to say, too much information maybe, but I found this very difficult to use. I found it hard to put in, even harder to take out. You will start panicking if you can't take this out properly. No point in panicking, just relax, because if you panic, your muscles will clench and then you definitely won't be able to get it out. So just pull back out, and it's quite messy getting it back out. So I don't really like using these. I stick to tampons and sanitary towels. But that is another alternative for you. These are reusable because they're silicone. You can wash these. I think they're dishwasher friendly as well, but I'm not sure I would want to put this in with my plates and cups. So these can last years. They're about like £30 in the UK, and they can last you so long. So it can save you a lot of money, because obviously like buying these for like a year is going to be a lot more expensive than using one of these. But it just depends on whether you get along with these or not. I don't, and the fact this is just springing around is putting me right off. You can also get reusable sanitary towels as well. They are made of cotton and you put them in the wash. I suppose that can be a little bit embarrassing if you live with your parents and then you're putting that in the washing pile. But I suppose if you live alone or you have a family that are okay, you know, with this sort of thing and they're totally open and there's nothing to be embarrassed about, then it's definitely worth looking into those as well. Now, some people like to wear these before and after their period just in case there is a little bit of discharge or a bit of blood that they missed. These are panty liners. Now, I didn't start wearing panty liners until I was like 17 or 18 because I used to think it meant pantyhose, which is actually tights in America. I got very confused. Basically, panty liner is a very small sanitary towel that you just place in your underwear, and it stops any sort of discharge that you may get, which again, guys, is natural, okay? Just sticks on at the back, well, not on the back, into your underwear like that. So they're good to have around if you find that you get quite a lot of discharge, especially if you're like just going through puberty. You will get that at unexpected times. Okay, well, I think that is all the stuff that I can really talk about in terms of preventing mess. Now, I briefly touched on the topic of toxic shock syndrome, which is quite hard to say if you try to say it 5 times fast. I'm gonna read you a little bit from this pamphlet from the Moon Cup just so that I can definitely get this across properly. TSS is considered a serious and sometimes fatal disease caused by toxin-producing strains of the Staphylococcus something bacterium. It's an evil bacterium and has been linked to the high absorbency and prolonged use of tampons. So don't wear a tampon for longer than 8 hours. I would say change it every couple of hours, especially if you're on your heavy days or your period. You don't want it in there for too long. Symptoms of TSS often mimic flu and can include sudden high fever, vomiting, diarrhea, dizziness, fainting, or a rash rather like sunburn during your period or some days after. So that's quite scary because you can think that you've got the flu. Now, symptoms will just appear a couple of hours after you've started to go into the shock, and you've only really got a couple of hours to go to A&E before it becomes a very serious thing. So if you're on your period and you use tampons, it doesn't really apply to sanitary towels. Anything that you put inside your vagina, you will have a risk of TSS. So if you start to get flu-like symptoms while you're on your period and the symptoms are coming on quite quickly, talk to your parents really, really quickly and say, I'm very, very ill, I want to go to A&E, and go to A&E. Don't just think, oh, it's just a flu, I'll be fine. It's better to be safe than sorry, okay? I've never had it, but people have died from it. People die from it every year, so it's worth getting it checked out, you know? Now, if you've ever had a period, you may have asked the question, why? Why do we experience pain while we're on our periods? Males, if you're watching this and you say, oh, they can't hurt that bad, you know nothing. They suck. I'm going to try and put it in perspective from something that I learned from my guy friends. Guys, when you're kicked in the balls and you get this sort of rising of pain that goes to your stomach and you get those stomach cramps when you're bent over in serious pain, it's like that for about 5 days, you know, where you got cramps and you feel sick. Yeah, we have that without being kicked in the balls. So, okay, so now we're gonna get a little bit sciencey. Period pain actually has a name. The technical term for period pain is primary dysmenorrhea. Who knew? Now, primary dysmenorrhea is quite common. It often occurs in teenagers and women in their 20s. Now, this occurs when there is no underlying problem with the womb, unlike secondary dysmenorrhea, which is caused by a problem with the womb or the pelvis, and this usually occurs in women between the ages of 30 and 40. But Emma, why do periods actually hurt? Well, scientists have pretty much found out why. Now, in order to shed your womb lining, the uterus has to actually contract. So you're actually kind of giving birth. This process is driven by hormone-like substances called prostaglandins. It's a real thing, look it up. Now, prostaglandins are associated with pain and inflammation. Have you ever accidentally cut your hand and then a couple of hours later it's swollen and really tender and red and inflamed and stuff? Prostaglandins. They're actually good for you because they cause blood clots, which is why you get scabs. You know, it stops the blood from just everywhere. Now, when the uterus contracts to give birth to your period, the contractions actually inhibit the blood flow to your uterus, causing quite a lot of pain, and that is why we hurt. Now, here's the bad news, because when you give birth, prostaglandins are released in much higher levels, so basically giving birth is like having 1,000,000 periods at once. Maybe not 1,000,000, that's not a scientific fact, but it hurts a lot more. It's like a period that really hurts. So now you understand why you're in pain during your period. Emma, why do we get so emotional during our period? Now, this is something that scientists don't actually properly know. So you may have already heard of the term PMS, which stands for premenstrual syndrome, which is what guys like to say when we get moody. Oh, she's got PMS again. But it is a real syndrome with symptoms such as anger, irritability, depression, anxiety, and also social withdrawal, but it's not like any of us are that social, right? PMS also has physical symptoms such as breast tenderness. I know that my boobs hurt like hell during my period. It can also make you feel bloated, and it can make your arms and legs swell. So if you feel like you've gained quite a bit of weight before your period, it's an actual thing. You are bloated. And it sucks. Now, PMS is defined by the fact that it doesn't affect your everyday life, and the symptoms go away after your period, and they only come on during your period. But some women, as many as 3 to 9%, suffer with something much worse called PMDD. This stands for premenstrual dysphoric disorder, and this is basically a more severe form of PMS and can affect your everyday life, whether you're on your period or not. Now, no one actually knows what causes PMS or PMDD. Scientists now believe that it is the way that estrogen communicates with the part of your brain that controls your mood, but no one actually knows for sure. Scientists used to believe that it was the amount of estrogen within the body, but after carrying out tests, they found that most women had a normal amount of estrogen within their body. That sounded really enthusiastic. Within their body. I just love periods. That's me. Now, another question that comes with periods is, how can I stop it hurting? How can I stop the cramps within my tum-tum? And over the years, a lot of people have found their own ways of dealing with their menstrual cramps. Now, the first technique is to take an ibuprofen. This is different to a normal painkiller. It's an anti-inflammatory, so it will help to reduce the swelling within your body, and it'll make you feel a little bit better. However, not everyone can take ibuprofen. If you can't, simply try and take some painkillers and hopefully they will help you. Another way to lessen the cramps is using heat. So either put a hot water bottle on your tummy and lay there for about 20 minutes, or go and have a hot bath. It is totally fine to have a bath while you're on your period, and I'll talk about that in a little while. Now, another technique, which won't be too popular with a lot of you, is exercise more. Maybe not on your period, but just be a lot fitter and a lot healthier, because studies have shown that people who exercise regularly have less painful cramps during their period. I don't know why But that would explain why I'm in pain, because I don't do any exercise ever. Now, one way that has been proven to lessen the pain of periods is to go on the birth control pill. Now, I'm not going to go into too much detail about what types of pill you can get. I may do a whole nother video on contraception. But the way that the birth control pill, otherwise known as just the pill, works is basically it tricks your body into thinking that you're pregnant. By releasing the hormones that you would normally release when you are pregnant, it means that the womb lining is not thickened because it thinks that there's already a baby in there, and an egg is not released. If no egg is released, no sperm can fertilize it, and if an egg is accidentally released, then the womb lining is not thick enough to implant the embryo onto it, and no baby will happen. It will just won't work. And if there is less womb lining to be shed, it means that your periods will be lighter, and therefore your cramps when your body's contracting, the gunk out, it won't be as bad. It's definitely worth talking to your parents or going to your doctor and seeking out the contraceptive pill, even if you're not sexually active. If your periods are really, really heavy, this is well known to help you, and it doesn't affect fertility in any way. So, apart from the fact that you won't be able to have a baby, but you will after you stop taking the pill, if that makes... I will do another video on contraception. When I can learn to pronounce it, I will do a video on it. Another couple of techniques to do are yoga stretches, such as like the dog. I don't do yoga, but I'll put up some pictures there of the type of stretches you should do if you're in pain. The dog, that's definitely a yoga move. And also, if you lie on your back with your feet higher than the rest of your body, so if you prop your feet up on something and just lay there for about 20 minutes, that should also help to lessen the pain. So there you go. So I also asked you guys on Twitter if you had any questions about periods that weren't to do with all the stuff that I just mentioned, and quite a lot of you came forward with some stuff that I think can help a lot of people if I answer. Samantha asks, how much can we actually bleed? And the average amount of blood lost during a period is 4 tablespoons. 4. Just 4. I'm going to go get a tablespoon and show you guys, because I found this ridiculous. You lose 4 of these. Not actual spoons. You only lose enough blood to fill up 4 of these during your entire period. But it feels like it's freaking lakes coming out, you know? Gabby asks, how long do your periods last? Because mine only last for 2 to 3 days, and my friends think that's weird. That's not weird. As I said, 2 to 7 days is perfectly normal and perfectly healthy. The average is 3 to 5 days. Mine tends to last around 3 days. That is probably because I'm also on the pill, which makes my periods lighter. So mine tend to go from like a Monday, no, around about a Wednesday to a Sunday, I think. Wow, I really got that wrong, didn't I? Wednesday to Sunday. Not that you really wanted to know, but now you know. Emma asks, can you take baths if you don't use tampons? Yes, you can. Now, some people may find it totally gross and horrible to use baths or go into a swimming pool while you're on your period. Rest assured, it's not gonna be a massacre, okay? Bath water, swimming pool water, seawater, it cannot get fully up your vagina. Whoa. There is already air in there, therefore it can't get in. Your vagina is like a waterproof seal until you break it. Just like water can't get inside when you're not on your period, it also can't get inside when you're on your period. So you don't even actually have to wear a tampon while you're swimming or while you're in the bath, because water will not be able to get up there to flush everything out. If it helps to make you feel a little bit more confident, go to the toilet before having a bath or going into a swimming pool. That'll obviously help to expel more blood before you go in, and then you should be totally fine. If you do choose to wear a tampon while you're swimming or in the bath, as soon as you get out, you need to take out that one and put in a new one, because, you know, if you got a tampon up there, water can probably get in there a little bit, and then you got water that can go stale in your vagina and TSS, and just take it out and put in a new one. And finally, Katrina asks, why do I always need chocolate when I'm on my period? It is a well-known thing that chocolate makes us all feel a little bit better, especially when we're on our lady week. There is actually a genuine reason as to why chocolate seems so good while we're on our periods. As I said, if you suffer from PMS, you can also get symptoms of mild depression while you're on your period. You can have really, really low moods. This is usually caused by the low amount of a chemical called serotonin being released in your brain. Now, serotonin is what makes you feel happy and positive. It's basically like a reward system for your brain. So if you do something good, serotonin will be released and you'll be like, yeah! If you don't have enough serotonin released in your body, you will feel a little bit sad. So chocolate is a miracle food. Chocolate can not only mimic serotonin, but it can also release endorphins, which are the other things that make you feel happy and rewarded and just really good about yourself. If you ever wanted an excuse to eat more chocolate, it can also help to reduce depression and anxiety. So all in moderation, but if you're feeling a little bit bad, eat chocolate. And that is why we want chocolate all the time. I hope this video was helpful. I know it was quite long. If you guys have any questions about periods or contraception or anything, leave them in the comments below and I will do my best in the next few weeks to answer them. I want to do an advice Q&A on this channel very, very soon. So if you also have any sort of questions in terms of boys or relationships or bullying or anxiety or whatever, leave them in the comments below and I will hopefully do a serious Ask Emma on this channel very soon. So thank you guys for watching. I hope this helped and I shall see you guys very soon. Bye! Also, this is a bit awkward, but I have underwear that tells people when I'm on my period. I have underwear that says Shark Week and it's got an angry shark on the back. And then there's one with a really rude word on it, which I won't show you, but it's got an octopus on the back. And this one says Sourpuss and it's got an angry kitty on the back. So I'll leave a link to those if you want to look them up. It's not sponsored, I just thought they were quite fun. So they're called period panties. So I'll leave a link to those. Yeah. Now everyone can know when I'm on my period. As you can tell, I haven't worn these yet. So I'm not showing you my used underwear. Okay. Good.